Okay, today I'm doing Venus in Cancer in the fourth house, and I'm going to run through this slideshow. And I've got previous videos from Venus in houses 1 to 3, so you can go back and check those out if you want. And today is about Venus in Cancer in the fourth house, so I'm going to go for it. What we have is that Venus has an inner nature and outer natures, and it is the way in which we hear our own voice and listen. And as we hear ourselves, our inner talk, we can see then how we project it out into the world, and then we can see what is reflected back to us. It's about inner needs and values. That's what Venus is. It's about our inner needs and our values. And if you think that basically that the Venus is the ruler of Taurus and the second house traditionally, and also Venus rules Libra, which is to do with relationships, so inner needs and values. But in this case, we're talking about Venus in Cancer, and the ruler is the Moon. The Moon rules Cancer and the fourth house. And the big thing that we can do to remedy a lot of our issues in life is to ask the question, how do I talk to myself? Because what we'll be able to see by the way we talk to ourselves, which can be our inner critic, or the person that's egging us on and helping us do well in life. However we're talking to ourselves is how we're going to act out in the world. So it's really worth looking at that one. But it's deeper. In evolutionary astrology, we go deep on the Venus. It's a beautiful tool for knowing ourselves. So I'm going to show you my chart here, and what we have is that if you see my mouse, I don't know if you can, but if you look at the fourth house, I've got my Venus in Aries in the fourth house. And that means that I go, in the fifth house, Venus in Aries in the fifth house. And what I do is that I've got a particular way of, being in regard to, love, relationships, and my needs being met. So this fifth house, Venus, that's creativity. So my values and needs, I need to be creative and to live out my life. And I also need, I've also got the Aries in me, so I like to be, I can get quite bored quite quickly and stuff like that. But you can go back to the first video to see what Venus in Aries means. Here we've got a natal chart represents our potential. It also represents what we have been and where we are at and what we can become. We have free will, and knowing this means we get to make choices. It is important we look at the totality of a chart, and in evolutionary astrology, the baseline will be Pluto and the North Node and the South Node. And then we've got here what you'd be waiting for if you've got Venus in Cancer, or whether, also if Venus is transiting that part of, Venus is transiting the sign of Cancer for you, you can look at it from that perspective as well. So here we have a pattern and a need of relationships that help develop and heal the inner world of feelings of insecurity that are related to the inner whirling emotional states. The feelings are not fixed, they come and go as the waxing and the waning of the moon. There can be feelings of no control and then feeling stable. And here they are learning to relate to themselves as emotional beings. Their image of self changes too, and they are looking to feel safe and secure and for stability. There is a wish to be taken care of, to receive nurture by those they love. Jeff Wolf-Green mentions in his book, Pluto 2, that there is a skipped step here at around 20 months old, which causes the baby to internalize a parent that is not physically nearby or present, and yet the baby still feels safe and secure. I personally can see the implications of how that may play out as an adult, the not feeling secure, but not knowing why. This means the security and feelings toward it have been compromised. And so basically we're looking at something being compromised because we don't understand what's gone on in the past. So it's important that we, delve deeply on our chart, because it's not going to be one aspect, it's going to be many things as well. So he also said, I would say get that book, actually, get the Pluto 2 book, because it's brilliant on relationships. So it's the feeling secure but not knowing why. This means the security and feelings toward it have been compromised, and unreality. The Venus in Cancer experiences unpredictable emotions. There can be feelings that any amount of love is never enough for them. And this then leads to feelings of insecurity and not feeling safe with others. This means emotional expectations are projected onto the other, and they may feel others should meet their needs and know what they want, even when not verbalized. These reactions and the way they are can pull others into their emotional states. And then next slide is here is if there is displaced anger, then this can be mirrored back. So I think this is the beauty in understanding Venus. We get to see who we are and what we are projecting, which then shows us what we need to work on. They can also hear and feel other emotional states, even if this is not being shown or verbalized to them. They have a skill of helping others express their emotions because of their warmth and nurturing and feeling disposition. What is happening here is their own needs are being played out there, and they can do this without words. They need relationships that are safe with lasting commitments, and they need gentleness and nurturing relationships. So how that can be balanced out if you've got Venus in Cancer is we can balance this polarity out with the Capricorn and look to harness emotional projections and minimize them, so we can look and say, you know, am I projecting here? And then we minimize it. They're learning to be responsible for their own inner child and look at why they feel what they feel. They can also look at and release emotional vulnerability and get to a place of being clear and forward in what is going on for them. So this I like. This is from Uganda, and he says that mankind is engaged in an internal quest for that something else he hopes will bring him happiness, complete and unending. For those individual souls who have sought and found God, the search is over. He is that something else. So what happens is we understand that, you know, the magnificence of being human, and that God is subjective experience. It's going to be different for everybody, and that our own security is inside us, that there are no saviors outside ourselves, which is very difficult. But the more individuated we become and the more we heal our early wounds, we're able to, you know, get to grips with that. However hard it is, you know, because being human is quite hardcore when it comes to our emotions and our needs being met. And then here we've got Carl Gustav Jung, and he said he died in 1961. And I love Carl Gustav Jung. I read a lot of his work at the moment. I'm looking at a lot of his Jungian work, beautiful stuff. And he says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And the other thing he said was, what you resist not only persists, but it will grow in size. And resistance determines the magnitude of our problems or our confrontations. So that is it. There you go. And the source material here I want to refer to is Jeffrey Wolf Green, Pluto 1. And that's a beautiful book to get, because if you can get to understand Pluto in your chart, you're going to go a long way to understanding yourself. And you can get that on Amazon, The Evolutionary Journey of the Soul. And then the Carl Jung, various quotes there. And Uganda, there was a quote and a few pictures from Google. So here goes. Next slide. You can contact me, email me here if you've got any questions, or you want to book a reading of your natal chart with me. I do one-to-one sessions, and I've got an offer on until the end of August. So feel free to, if you want to dig into your chart and learn more about yourself, and you want to evolve some of your early trauma or understand what's gone on for you or what is going on for you with your transits, I can help you with that. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back next week with Leo. That should be exciting because we've got 4 planets at the moment, I think, in Leo, and then next week that's what I'll be doing. Thank you. Catch you later.